Donald Trump has made increasingly bold and in some cases specific references to why exactly Qassem Soleimani needed to be killed in the strike of 2 Thursdays ago. The problem with the claims that he's making now is that they don't appear to be buttressed by any actual intelligence. And whereas in previous news cycles, Mike Pompeo has been willing to go in front of the cameras, even in press conferences, and imply that the president is saying something that is grounded in the truth. Others in his administration are not as willing to lie on behalf of the president. And so I want you to take a look at this appearance recently by Mark Esper, who is talking about Trump's recent claim that 4 embassies were being targeted by Qassem Soleimani. Is there any truth to that? Let's see what happens.
What the president said was he believed that it probably and could have been attacks against additional embassies. I shared that view. I know other members of the national security team shared that view. That's why I deployed thousands of American paratroopers to the Middle East to reinforce our embassy in Baghdad and other sites throughout the region.
Probably and could have been. That sounds more like an assessment than a specific, tangible threat with a decisive piece of intelligence.
Well, the president didn't say there was a tangible, he didn't cite a specific piece of evidence. What he said is he believed.
Are you saying there wasn't one?
I didn't see one with regard to 4 embassies. What I'm saying is I share the president's view that probably my expectation was they were going to go after our embassies.
Okay, now bear in mind, that is Mark Esper. He is on Team Trump. He's one of the big figures in Team Trump right now. If there was any room for him to imply that Donald Trump, any cover for Donald Trump in what he has said, Mark Esper would have employed that. There isn't. When he says he didn't see any justification for that statement, that means there was nothing there. There was nothing adjacent to there that Donald Trump or Donald Trump defenders could hide behind, which leaves us with the, I guess, inconvenient truth, or inconvenient at least for much of our national news, that Donald Trump is simply lying. And we need to call that out. And I'll explain in a minute why it's so important that we call that out. But when I say that he's lying, it's because he has been very specific in this claim that Mark Esper, Secretary of Defense, just said is not true. It's not founded in any intelligence. I want to run through a couple of the times that Trump has made this claim. Trump at a rally in Toledo said Soleimani was actively planning new attacks and he was looking very seriously at our embassies and not just the embassy in Baghdad. So specific references to which embassies. He added in a local TV interview, plus he was going after, in our opinion, our very intelligent opinion, he was going after our embassies and things could have happened. I can reveal, I believe it probably would have been 4 embassies. So in all of those cases, you have Trump's normal loose language. But you also have language that is clearly designed to manipulate people into thinking that this is official. When he says, I can reveal, that's what you say when, okay, we've had serious talks, it is safe for me to reveal this information. What he's revealing there is just his opinion or his wish, what would be convenient to justify the actions that he took. But he uses language that makes it seem as this is the official stance after strategizing of the Joint Chiefs and all the Pentagon officials and all of that. And so regular Americans could be forgiven for leaving this past week of Trump quotes and appearances at rallies and all of that, thinking, oh yeah, no, there was a plan. There were 4 specific embassies that would have been destroyed if we hadn't taken out Qassem Soleimani. That is simply not the case. Mark Esper is making that clear. Now, why this is important is because right now, at least for the time being, it appears that the brakes have been pumped, okay? But Donald Trump has already brought us to the brink with Iran multiple times now. It is likely that between now and the general election, he will do so again. And so what comes out of this last little flare up with Iran is incredibly important. Donald Trump attempted to justify the actions he took with what appear to be 100% manufactured lies. If he leaves this news cycle thinking, oh yeah, I got away with it, there were no consequences, then he will do so again. And in a week or 2 months or 6 months, right on the eve of the election, I don't know, he's going to have some sort of flare up with Iran that will cause his base and perhaps some gullible centrists to rally around him the way they always do when there's international conflicts that the United States is involved in. And right now, he appears to have learned the lesson that, yeah, I made it up and it was totally fine. And take a look at the casual way he talks about this dispute that I'm referencing right here. He tweeted this morning. The fake news media and their Democrat partners are working hard to determine whether or not the future attack by terrorist Soleimani was imminent. He means imminent, but he's an idiot, so we'll forgive him, or not. And was my team in agreement? The answer to both is a strong yes. but it doesn't really matter because of his horrible past. So what he's saying there is, okay, I believe I have a justification, but it doesn't matter. He's talking about international law. He's talking about perhaps launching the US into another decades-long war in the Middle East, but it doesn't matter. And the thing is, honestly, I'm trying to make sure that there are consequences. I'm focusing on this ad nauseum to make sure that it is as difficult as possible for him to deploy these same sorts of not even well-considered lies. They're barely veiled lies to justify another conflict. But the thing is, the people who actually have the power to add consequences, Democrat leadership, that sort of thing, what are they doing? I mean, there are good people. You have Bernie Sanders in the Senate, you have Ro Khan in the House, and Ro Khan is gonna be joining us on the show on Wednesday, who are attempting to clamp down on his ability to unilaterally launch some sort of conflict with Iran. But right now, that's about it. And they don't appear to have the full support of the Democratic Party in either the Senate or in the House. That is an incredibly dangerous place for us to be. Okay, hundreds of people already died in the last flare-up of tensions between the US and Iran. God only knows what will happen the next time. And we are leaving this last incident with it being more likely in the future. Donald Trump and his cronies feel emboldened on this issue. That is not where we want to be. For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.